All right, well, let's go now to Tupelo, Mississippi, and we'll talk with Pam. Hi, Pam. You're on the air tonight. What's on your mind?
Yes, how you doing today, Andrew?
Doing great.
That's good. I get excited every time I get to talk to you. My question, well, first I want you to know that me and my husband, Robert, we have been listening to you for a year and a half,
Awesome.
and we started tithing, well, I guess giving the offering to your radio ministry because you have blessed our lives
Oh,
so
wonderful.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam.
The question I want to know, when I read just reading your books or reading just the Word of God, I get faith like comes alive in me, and I get happy. I get excited what I learn of them. But some days when I know if I don't read, I get sluggish, and it's like my Bible and everything is sitting on the table, and I know I need to run to it, and I hear him no come to me, but sometimes I have a child. We have a child with disability, but
Yes.
I make run to just doing other things, trying to get prepared. How the other question? How can I stay? If that's possible, that you can stay so full and excited for the Lord.
Mm,
And
okay.
and what do that scripture means that if we don't faint, but we would reap in due seasons. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
To stay
yes.
busy.
All right, all right. Yeah, well, let's talk all about that. The thing is that we have to be careful about this issue of reading the Bible. And I know that a lot of preachers would not say that we need to be careful about reading the Bible, but here's what I mean. We need to be careful that we're not just drawn to the idea that we're obligated, that we're bound to log time in a book in order to then feel okay or feel excited. Now, of course, our entire ministry is based on the truth of the Word of God. But at the same time, well, 20 some years ago, I guess it's been almost 30 years ago, I would log time in a book. I would log 3 or 4 hours a day in the Bible in order to feel okay, in order to then, when my head hit the pillow that night, feel at peace with God because I had done my duty. I had fulfilled my task. I had kept my promise. I had done my part. I had read the Bible that day, and so God was pleased with me, or I could have peace. Now, I don't think that's your motive. I don't think that's your situation exactly. But I do want you to be aware that, as great as reading the Bible is reminding us of His constant presence. And you always have Christ living in you. So you talk about your child with special needs. Well, when you're attending to that child, Christ lives in you, and Christ can express Himself through you. So you can have the most meaningful human experience on the planet anytime, anywhere, no matter what you're doing, if Christ is expressing Himself through you. So just take this in, Pam. I mean, 70% of the early church was illiterate. 70% of early Christians could not read. And so we, today, it seems like we've made this into some sort of measuring stick, some sort of determination of how spiritual we are or how close to God we are allowed to feel or how excited we can be based on our recent Bible reading and whether we have kept up or not. Well, 70% of the early church could not read. They were illiterate. They couldn't have quiet times. They had to have loud times, I like to say. Well, what does that look like? Well, maybe it looked like conversation. Today it would be conversation at the local coffee shop. Today it might be a husband and wife chatting about the Lord. Today it might be an occasional conversation about whatever's on your mind spiritually and applying the truth to that. In other words, when we're bound to the idea that we have to have a regimented schedule involving Bible reading, that can quickly become life under the law. It kind of sounds like this: thou shalt read the Bible. Thou shalt read the Bible every day. Thou shalt read the Bible every day in order to feel full and in order to feel excited. Well, wait a minute. The joy of the Lord is my strength. The Lord Himself is my source of excitement. Where is He? He is in. He is in 24/7 without interruption. Whether I'm reading or not reading, whether I'm conversing with my child, whether I'm on my way to work or on my way to school or whatever it might be, if Jesus Christ dwells in me, then I can experience life to the fullest in that moment. So, as wonderful as Bible reading is, as great as Bible study is, we need to remember it's the truth in the Bible that sets us free. And I believe that the truth in this case that sets you free, Pam, is that you are not bound, you are free. You are free to forget one day. You are free to take a day off. You are free to set your own schedule. You are free to read or not read. But it is the constant presence of Christ in you, and it is the acknowledgement that you are united to Jesus, one spirit with the Lord, all day long, every day, whether there's a book nearby or not. You are where He has written on a heart, and that is a beautiful reality to behold. Christ in you, your only hope of glory. He is the living Word. So the written Word is fantastic and so encouraging and so full of truth, and it's God-breathed and God-inspired, but God also breathed His life into you and gave you the living Word, Jesus indwelling you. So I think that for you to remember that and set your mind on Him living in you, that is going to help free you up to not feel like you have to run to the book and feel better and then run away from the book and start feeling worse again and then run back to the book to feel excited again. Look, we're all excited about the Word of God, but the Word of God is simply pointing us to Jesus, and Jesus is always with us, always in us. He'll never leave us, never forsake us. That's going to be the truth that sets you free all day long, every day. Focus on your union with Christ. Pam, thanks for your call tonight. I appreciate your encouragement and your support. Great to hear from you. Call us back anytime, my friend.